There are currently just under 13,400 members of the Garda Síochána, along with approximately 2,000 civilian support staff and 1,100 reserve Gardaí. While it is difficult to predict with any certainty the number of Garda members who will retire in any year, given that members with 30 years' service may retire on full pension after attaining the age of 50, a retirement rate in line with recent experience could see Garda strength approaching the 13,000 figure by the end of this year. I have said that I would not like to see Garda strength fall below that level, and I will bring proposals to Government shortly in relation to maintaining Garda operational strength. But it is of course the case that a resumption of Garda recruitment at a time when both overall headcount and the size of the pay bill in the public service must be reduced would have financial implications that must be managed within the overall resources available to Government. Simply not credible for any deputy to pay lip service to the need for budgetary discipline, while at the same time implying through questions like this that the cost of significant elements of the public service can be increased without regard to the financial consequences. In that context, it is important that the current impasse in relation to the LRC proposals on saving €1 billion from the public service pay bill, including €300 million this year, is first resolved. As deputies will be aware, the LRC is currently exploring with all of the parties concerned the potential for such a resolution. Of course, I hope there is a positive outcome to that process. Can I also again remind the House that the expenditure ceilings for the years 2012 to 2014 planned by the last Government would have resulted in an average of €90 million less for the Garda Síochána budget in each of the years 2012, 2013 and 2014 than is the case under this Government. Such a scenario would have necessitated a significant further reduction in Garda strength, not an increase, and perhaps deputies might not lose sight of that when discussing this issue. Of course, any resumption of Garda recruitment will have implications for the Garda College in Templemore. Can I assure the House that the Garda College remains fully open as the main training centre for the Garda Síochána? The Chief Superintendent in charge of the College, the members of the team there develop, coordinate and direct all training interventions up to the most senior ranks. The College provides operationally focused training across a range of areas, including firearm training, driver training, public order training, operational skills programmes, management development programmes, and of course Garda Reserve training. 2012, training was provided in the College for over 5,000 members of the Garda Síochána. I can confirm for the House that the College will continue to provide a centre of excellence for training for members of the Garda Force.
Niall. Thanks. Minister, I really think the time has come when we have to stop dodging the whole issue of a recommencement of Garda recruitment and training. And we've discussed it on many occasions here in the House, and you did give an indication that it would recommence, and in no way was that commitment or indication prefaced on the passage of the Croke Park 2 ballot with the unions. Now, we know that Croke Park 2 was a complete shambles. The Government completely took it for granted that public servants were going to buy in. You sought to rely on some of the larger trade unions to get your proposal over the line, and it was exceptionally distasteful to listen to some Government ministers, cabinet ministers, spinning that the deal was fair and proportionate ever before the detail was published, and indeed ever before some of those very same ministers had read the deal of what was agreed in Lansdowne House. Now, Minister, you know that if the force drops below 13,000, the roster, the new Garda rostering system, simply will not function. And you have sought to trumpet the Garda roster as one of the new innovations in terms of your reforms of smarter policing, and you still haven't defined for us what smarter policing entails in your view. So what I want to ask you is this, Minister. Given that you're continuing to recruit into the Defence Forces, and given that you haven't nailed your colours to the mast in terms of what you want to see as the minimum force complement, you have said you would like to see the force remain at 13,000. I mean, that's pretty watery. That's like a wet paper bag. You could just tear it up. So, what is your position in terms of what level the force should be held at? Are you saying that recruitment is contingent on some form of agreement under Croke Park 2? And finally, have you a time frame? Because you clearly didn't have a plan B in terms of the first Croke Park exercise in relation to Croke Park too.
Thank you.
Can you just give us some degree of clarity?
Minister,
because you're dodging and weaving the whole time. You know,
Minister,
you're like the proverbial goalpost.
Deputy.
You're moving right around the pitch, and every time someone tries to take a shot at trying to tie you down, and you know you're usually a man that digs in, but on this occasion you're a man who's engaging in U-turns.
Deputy Healy, please, in fairness, Minister.
I think the Deputy has yet again illustrated that he has a neck as thick as a rhinoceros's behind, talking about dodging.
And a point forward, that is an exceptionally personal insult. Now, Minister, I could liken you to a lot of characters, but you should be man enough to come in here and engage on the issues, right? And refrain from personal insulting, because he applies personal insults to everybody, and that's why you're offside with everybody. Right, even the judiciary.
Deputy, please
your former colleagues.
Now, the Minister and Deputy Healy have to get in yet.
Now, it's the issue that you should address, not me.
Minister has the floor.
I'm sorry, Deputy, if I touched a sensitive zone. You accuse me of dodging and weaving on issues, and I'm entitled to respond.